making money on pre-roll ads. That's coming from a brand, it's getting amortized out, but all those nickels and dimes that add up to real money if you're at scale in this room, that also comes from a brand. Then there's merchandise, right? You said something funny, 50 people left a comment that it was funny. You're like, wait a minute, you make a t-shirt and you sell 39 of them? People. This has all happened. How many people here are under the age of 34? Raise your hands. Raise it high. Great. Who's over 40? Yeah, old fuckers, what up? So kids, let me tell you what the old fuckers, let me tell you where I want to go with this talk. Let me tell you what the old fuckers, one more time, 40 and over? Raise your hand. No, we really only, we have one very important advantage. In the many advantages that the under 34 crowd, and I apologize to everybody, 35 to 39, I didn't feel the core advantage, because so many under 34 have the advantages of growing up with it, it comes native, there's many advantages you have. But there's one massive advantage everybody in this room 40 and older has that I want to focus on right now, because I want everybody in this room to get value out of this talk, and I'm not sure if there's anything else I can say better than what I'm about to say, and I really need you to understand it. The big advantage that everybody here, like myself, that's over 40 has, is we've lived through an economic meltdown. We've lived through everything, we lived through, there was one in 01 and 07, so we got too quick, and if you're older enough, if you got 92, 79, that was the worst. Jimmy Carter fucked it up, guys. And so, we've lived through it, thus, we anticipate it in a different way that if you're under 32, you can't. Because if you've only lived life professionally in an environment where the economy's been flourishing, you don't realize what happens, which is literally tomorrow morning you can wake up and we can have a Bear Stearns, some sort of event that completely starts the collapse of the economy, and all of a sudden the DMs from a detox tea or from Pepsi or Coach stop. And if your entire money is coming from your audience that buys 22, let me tell you what stops when the economy collapses. People don't just want to buy a $22 t-shirt that has a funny saying on it. Big brands don't want to pour money because they don't have it into the market. And so where I'm really going with this is a couple things. Context is what drives a lot of success. When you read all your comments for all your content, you get context from your audience, and it helps you think about the next place you can go with your storytelling instead of you just being creative and guessing. But you have to put in the work to read the comments. Context in understanding what's happening right now in the global economy. This is all growing, but it's growing during a time of frothy, massive economic growth. So if you're sitting here and your strategy is, I'm going to get off my job and I'm going to get into this, or I'm now making $80K a year doing this, but I'm about to go to $500,000, you have to contextualize the moment we're in. I tell entrepreneurs all the time, and I don't want to razz here, but I want everybody to wrap their head around it. If you're not crushing it right now as an entrepreneur, you suck. This is the easiest era ever to be winning, and you have to contextualize that. So, a couple things. You might just start now, and you're only 3 months in, you didn't have time to crush it. But fuck, if you've been trying to do it as an entrepreneur for the last 5.5 years, and it's not clicking, you need to work for somebody. You need to wrap your head around it. You do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Take some of the wealthiest friends I have were employee number 27 at Facebook. Employee number 27 at Facebook has more money than every fucker in this room combined. So there's nothing wrong for working for something. As a matter of fact, one of the great things about something like this, listen, I'll tell you what you should be doing here. As I look around the room, see faces that I know that are familiar to me, and things of that nature, you should be shaking every hand in this room. Do not do the cliche, silly thing that everybody does, which is there's 4 to 7 people or 20 people that have 1 million followers or a big this or that, and everyone chases them. Literally, the person sitting to the left and right of you has a disproportionate chance of having an impact on your career that you're not thinking about, and everybody comes to these kind of conferences and chases the 7 same people. Meanwhile, so much of the magic of 4 years from now was sitting right next to you. So if I can encourage anything for the rest of this event is, and listen, not everyone's an extrovert. A lot of people here are like, I don't like, how do I say hello? I get that, but A, if you're lucky enough to be comfortable in rolling up on people and just saying hello, take full advantage of that. Because like-minded individuals in the same place at the same time matter. So much of my success was spending time with the Zucksons and and Travis and like all that stuff. It was all happening at the same time. And Travis was unemployed and not doing anything before he started Uber, and he was at every conference. Like, it's very, very, very important that you realize that. I always love when rappers are like, you could have been anywhere tonight and you chose to be here. I always laugh at that because it's obviously it's a Jay-Z entertainment statement, but for me it's a business statement. The fact of the matter is, you could have been anywhere right now. You're in this hotel at this event for a specific reason. That means it's highly likely that many people here can help each other, even though it's not obvious based on, let's do a collab. Like, guys, if somebody has 6 million fucking subscribers, of course she and he knows all of you want to collab with them. The answer is no. To me, it goes back to the opening line here. You know what? You want to know what most people's vulnerability is? The reason I always win, every time I enter something else, it's, what can I do for you? And not the person that has 11 million. Just the person that's right next to me. Because karma and doing the right thing and kindness and being a fucking human always wins in the end. Always. Because what you don't know is the person next to you may have 48 subscribers, but his aunt runs shit. And everybody here is jockeying and overthinking and politicking in their head, all from a selfish place, and all the magic sitting in the doing the right thing, saying hello, being patient, but most of all, the thing that will speed you up in the thing that you want to accomplish, no question, is you've got to become religious about your audience. Like, you have to become religious about your audience. Like, guys, honestly, straight up, if you're sitting in the crowd right now, it's unacceptable for you not to reply to the comments you get on your content. I don't know how to, honestly, like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna go that literal with it. I don't like to do definitive things because that's just not how life is, but I'm just comfortable going there. It is actually fundamentally, grossly negligent and unacceptable for you to be in a place where you do not reply with a thank you or a heart or a meaningful, you read it and you meaningfully wrote something back to every single comment you have right now in whatever limited that is, because those 7 people are disproportionately the reason you're going to get 17. And yet you're so worried about getting the next 10 that don't know you, you're giving no fucking love to the 7 that decided to watch your horse shit. It's called audacity. The number one thing I see in the creator space, the number one thing is audacity. I don't think anything I've accomplished up to today means anything. All the good keynotes I ever gave, as soon as I was sitting back there, I'm like, I have to fucking destroy this. Because if I don't, then this is the beginning of the end. You're only as good as your last at-bat. And, I'm very thankful, and I'm aware, I'm not delusional, that I have something to say, and it resonates and it works, but it doesn't mean I ever take it for granted. And I also know how I got here. And I got here, and the number one thing that I love about, so I realized something 9 months ago or so, I was like, shit, now I know why this is working. I only give advice that I did. I only give advice that I did. I don't guess. You know how things happen for me and other people that I see, but specifically for me, I can speak for me, I replied to every fucking person. And that meant something. I created context. A very different thing happens when somebody watches some of your shit, leaves a comment, and you roll in and say thank you. The depth of that relationship goes much further. And, so I just think people in here are audacious. Like, who the fuck are you to not take 17 minutes when you have 9 fucking watchers to say thank you? And who you are is, and again, obviously I don't know everybody's individual thing, but this is the collective entire space. Forget about this conference. The creator community of influencers and creators, vloggers, and Instagram. When I look and I spend, by the way, just so you know what I do with my time at this point, I basically read comments still to this day, I read mine, but I spend an enormous amount of time if somebody hits my radar, reading the comments. Like Tanner or Shandoris, this is my favorite one. I didn't even listen to my first Nicki Minaj song until I read almost 20,000 comments about her from her community. I like understanding the world through other people's comments and feedback on that thing. I don't watch Breaking Bad, I just know how you collectively feel about it. Right? I don't watch anything actually. Bless you, I just know what the collective conscious of the end user is, and that's how I think about it, right? And so, we're living we're just so fortunate. It's just so crazy to me. You know what I really wish? I wish your great-great-grandparent could come out of the ground and punch you in the face. I'll tell you why I want your great-great-grandparent to come out of the ground. We are complaining about the dumbest shit on earth. People, we are so blessed.
Yeah.
There's so much abundance. If you're in this room, and listen, I'm very aware of what's going on in society, and I'm very happy about all the great things that are happening around racism and sexism to build up to the consciousness. But taking a macro 7.7 billion people in the world point of view on this, taking it from somebody who sits on boards where, millions of people in Africa don't have clean water, literally the fucking shit on your table right there, people walk 4 miles for, take real perspective. If you're in this room and you complain about anything, you should probably get punched in the face. And seriously, good news. Let me save everybody a lot of time. Everybody's got problems, so they don't have time for yours.
Yeah.
That's just true life. It doesn't feel nice. When I put out content of nobody gives a fuck, I get a million emails that I have to respond to. I'm like, yes, people, I know your mom cares. But what I mean is the second you realize that people don't, it allows you to take on accountability. And I guess that's really where I want to go with this, which is the reason I want your great-grandparents to get out of the ground and punch you in the face is first, we have the internet. I know it's kind of macro, but the fact that you can even build your personal brand or whatever you're trying to do while you're still paying your bills or your loans because you can do it at night is something that our grandparents didn't have the option to. If you had hopes and dreams in 1964, but you still had to put bread on the table, guess what? When you got home at 6:30, you couldn't build something on a thing called the internet. You were just stuck. So to not quantify that bliss already upsets me. So the reason events like this get me fired up is people are complaining about not having 1,000 subscribers. Or my favorite, when they blame the audience itself. My favorite people here are the ones people don't get me yet. I'm too over the top for them. I'm too futuristic. People don't understand me yet. They understand you. They think you suck. I love that shit. Gary, I'm coming from a totally different angle. No, you're not, Angel. You actually just suck. People want to PR themselves to not address their insecurities. To me, the market is right. If you're not winning right now, it means you're losing. It means the market doesn't like what you're putting out. Now, you have a question to ask yourself. Are you going to do something that you think the market's going to like because you want that short term, but it's not your authentic self? Or are you going to stay the course of what you do and see how it plays out? For me, the second one's clearly amazing. Here's why. My big problem right now with this space is that everybody's trying to make $1 million a year. I'm trying to get people to understand that if you're making $53,000 a year or 92 or whatever it may be doing something you hate, wouldn't it be awesome if you can make that same exact number just making videos about Star Trek or fucking Supreme clothes or making yogurt, right? To me, what has really bothered me about this space is I don't think people realize the long tail of this space is the special thing of this whole game. To me, the person here who's making $114,000 a year doesn't like it, super passionate about streetwear, and she or he is trying to make their content online. I'm always trying to convince them, yo, you're making 114. Can you look at what you're spending? Can you live a little more humbly so actually you only need 82? Because if you only need 82, you can get faster to getting happy, and once you get on the game to to making 82 in ads and brand deals, you'll get to 114 in a second, because now you're getting full-time energy, you'll open it up. But we have a very big problem that we're creating infrastructure costs around ourselves. There's a lot of people here who are like hiring post-production people and a PR person and fucking building out a team, and they've got no money coming in to look the part. People trying to front in front of people they don't even like. Yeah, he was right. People trying to front. You're trying to prove something to somebody that you don't even respect or like. And so, look, what has worked for me and where I want to push you is one thing. Have one religion, the audience. The audience will put you on. Because when you actually have an audience, another thing happens. There's a lot of people here who are at the mercy of the platform because they actually haven't built a relationship with the audience. There's a reason, and I'm a historian because I'm old, of watching people that weren't able to go from MySpace to Twitter. Weren't able to go from Twitter to Facebook, or to Instagram, or to Snapchat, or to Musical.ly, or to the next thing. They die when the platform kills them algorithmically, or they die when the platform itself dies. Because they didn't build an audience, they didn't build a brand, they built sales. They just had them. They were good, they were early, they were first, they were funny, they looked pretty. There were a million reasons why they got it, but it wasn't an actual relationship. So when we all go to VR or AR, or when two girls in Tennessee make the next Vine or Snapchat or Instagram that we all have to pay attention to in 24 months, the audience doesn't come along because there's no relationship, because it's subscribers and it's laziness of not unsubscribing. We don't have an actual audience. And this is why I just don't understand how people, it was one thing when it was Friendster, MySpace, and Twitter in 2006, because we hadn't lived through it yet. And a lot of people made mistakes, and I understood it because they didn't have a map to look at. But now we're here. Like, you saw what happened to Tequila and Dane Cook. And not that, by the way, I have no idea what's happening with either of them, but what I know is, meaning good or bad, I really don't know, but what I do know is they were, like, if you're 42, 43 like me, how many people here played on MySpace? Raise your hand. Good. They were fucking dominating.
Yeah.
And so for me, this goes down to purity that I don't think the industry, people spend more time trying to be part of engagement groups on Instagram than actually replying to the people that post on there. Like people buy things and bot up and try to spend all their time collaborating with Casey when he's not going to do it. Like, it's just completely fucked up. People are confused. Don't be confused. Because a couple things are definitely going to happen. We've had 12 years of economic growth. Shit's going to hit the fan. And you know who's going to win? A very small percentage that actually has an audience. And that might mean you can make $47,000 a year because you live a $47,000 a year life. Like, I would assume that a lot of people here would do what they do for a lot less money because it's more fun than working for somebody. And so, like, don't get over leveraged. Just because, like, for the people here that are feeling some success, you don't need a house with 9 rooms that you don't use. You know, and so, like, I think what you can see is I'm trying to bring a lot more practicality to this, to this space, because we need it. But it starts and it stops with an audience. Like, for all of you that know somebody that knows me, and the narrative's like, yeah, he's nice, he's actually nice, or it's actually like it's because it's important. It's the only asset. The only asset is the attention of the end consumer. Because with that, not even the platform has leverage on it. And so, now the question becomes, what do you do with that? For example, I think everybody here, for the most part, its next video or piece of content should be asking its audience, whatever size it is, of what that person could be doing for that audience. That has always worked for me. The tweet that gets me into a lot of trouble when I say, what can I do for you? And then I have to buy like cheeseburgers and iPhones, which I love doing because it's funny and it's funny content, but it's far bigger than that. The reason I do that is I get, at this point, thousands and thousands of comments that give me insights to what am I currently not delivering that I used to deliver, or that I can't see, or that somebody else is delivering and people want my version of it. This game's about listening. Take it from somebody who talks a lot and interrupts all the time. It is my listening that has allowed me the privilege of standing up here and giving this keynote. You know, and I would highly recommend people start deploying a lot more humility instead of posturing, because it will work. And so like, this is tried and true shit. It's a very special time. I think I wanted to create the framework of the kind of 3 or 4 things that make sense to me, because I feel like in our Q&A right now, we can get very tactical. I'm gonna open this up in a minute. Like, this is when you're like, how do I post on, you know, my Instagram to my LinkedIn? Like this, I think Q&A is made to go very selfish and very, very practical. I'm happy to answer any of that. But the framework of actually giving a shit about the end audience is something that is just missing and is the glaring hole in so many people's game. Thank you. After everybody stay in your seats, we're going to come to you. How many runners do we have? Amazing. Who are the runners?